NG. In this recap, we are going to the continent of Africa, where the West is competing for alliances. Putin's total support pledged to Africa. Vladimir Putin pledged total support to African nations, reinforcing Russia's commitment to providing economic, military, and humanitarian assistance. This promise, made at a summit in Sochi, comes as Russia seeks to strengthen ties with Africa, Asia, and the Middle East, following growing isolation from the West due to its actions in Ukraine. Russia's relationship with Africa is rooted in Cold War history, when the Soviet Union supported anti-colonial movement and offered military and economic aid. After the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, Russia's focus on Africa waned, but has since revived under Putin's leadership, driven by the continent's valuable natural resources, markets, and potential diplomatic allies. In recent years, Russia has significantly increased its presence in Africa, supplying arms, forging partnerships in mining and energy, and offering critical food and fertilizer assistance. However, Russia's military footprint, including the controversial Wagner Group, raises concerns about human rights abuses and exploitation. Putin's promise of total support signals a deeper Russian involvement in Africa, providing an alternative to Western powers. While this may bring short-term gains in military aid and trade, the long-term effect of this partnership will depend on the balance of benefit and risks for both sides. Biden visited Angola with hope to regain Africa's trust. On December 10th, U.S. President Joe Biden visited Angola as part of a broader strategy to reassert American influence in Africa. This visit comes at a time when both China and Russia have been steadily increasing their presence on the continent. China, Angola's largest trading partner, reached $23 billion in trade volume with Angola in 2023, driven largely by oil exports and Chinese investment through the Belt and Road Initiative. In contrast, the U.S. does not rank among Angola's top 5 trading partners. Experts such as Professor Fufulefo Netrera from South Africa view Biden's visit as a response to China's dominance and Russia's growing influence, particularly in the Sahel region. Many see this visit as a belated effort by the U.S. to counterbalance China's substantial infrastructure investment and Russia's military ties with African nations, including Angola's increasing military cooperation with Moscow. While the U.S. has committed to investing in Angola's infrastructure through the G7's Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment, providing loans for solar power, railways, and health initiatives, critics argue that it's not enough to outweigh the economic influence of China and Russia. Biden's visit may signal a renewed U.S. interest in Africa, but it faces an uphill battle to regain the continent's trust and influence. As if the visit was not enough, Biden pledged $1 billion in aid to Africa amid North Carolina hurricane recovery struggles. As North Carolina continues to struggle with the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, President Biden pledged $1 billion in aid to Africa, sparking a heated debate about priorities in times of crisis. The aid aimed at addressing the humanitarian needs of millions displaced by drought and food insecurity across 31 African countries has drawn criticism from those who feel the U.S. should focus on domestic recovery efforts first. While Biden's administration has approved over $1.8 billion for recovery in North Carolina, including $911 million from FEMA, critics argue that the timing of the Africa aid announcement is insensitive. With thousands of Americans still homeless or living in temporary shelters, some see Biden's focus on foreign aid as a failure to prioritize American citizens. During his visit to Angola, Biden also emphasized the U.S. commitment to transforming its leadership with Africa from one of aid to partnership, seeking to counter China's growing influence on the continent. While the U.S. has long been a global leader in humanitarian assistance, the debate continues. Should America's focus be on helping its own citizens first, or it should continue its role as a global benefactor? Well, that's it for November recap. From the Middle East to Europe and to the US. Let us know your thoughts about this in the comment section. And remember to like, share and subscribe to the News God for more intriguing global stories.